Hey everybody, I'm Nick Layton.
And I'm Leah Bottima.
And we're the hosts of Were You Raised by Wolves?
Each week we try to make the world a kinder, nicer place.
Well, that's the idea, at least.
I mean, we try.
Have you ever wondered what to do if you're ghosted?
Or what to do when a friend asks you to borrow money?
Or the proper way to eat Cheetos?
You know, the big questions.
So please find Were You Raised by Wolves wherever you listen.
This episode is brought to you by the second annual Catskill Cuisine Festival. Visit catskill-cuisine.com to learn more and buy tickets.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
Berryville is a hamlet in rural America, part of the upper Delaware River Valley in the western Catskills, but it could be anywhere. Berryville is the climax of civilization. Yeah, the Trump flags are flying, even as gay bikers are rolling through town. This is a hot take on rural America. And whether you're new to rural living, if you've ever been bullied or beaten up in the country, or live in the city and just dream of getting away, this show is for you.
Everything's better in Berryville.
Everybody's talking at me. I don't know what.
Wow. Crazy. We're back. Can you dig it? I'll tell you, Johnny, I love the springtime. All my favorite holidays at once. It's been Easter. We just had 420, Earth Day, Passover, and
daffodils have sprung. The forsythia's out.
WrestleMania. All the big holidays.
April's your month, guy.
I'm having a great time. Hey, let me ask you something, John. How many Jewish grandmothers does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
It's okay. I'll just sit here in the dark. Today we've got our friend Marissa Scheinfeld, who's the author of The Borscht Belt, revisiting the remains of America's Jewish vacation land, and the creator of the Borscht Belt Historical Marker Project. So I'm getting in the mood right away.
I'm so excited to talk to her.
I'm not so excited to hear some of my worst jokes, though.
I can hardly wait.
And we're also celebrating our town's litter sweep,
which was a huge success. This is one of my favorite days of the year because there's nothing diabolical or to be disputed about how wonderful it is when folks come out with great intentions and just pick up trash by the side of the road and make this place even more beautiful than it already is.
And talking about things that are evergreen, it was also opening day, and we went to the home opener of the Eldred Little League, and once again, try to find some darkness and among all that stuff.
Well, funny you should mention that. The Dark Forest crew, otherwise known as the folks at Burn Bray, sponsor one of the teams, so it was the Dark Forest crew versus the Corner and Eldred. So I really love this mashup. If you know the parties involved, the Monteleones versus the Frey Russes. I'm like, this is a dream.
I love it. It's like the pizza place versus the haunted house.
Yeah.
It's everything I like all at once.
It's like small town America at its best.
Well, this is amazing. We got a lot to talk about today. Like I said, 420, Earth Day, Passover is good. Passover is like all the other Jewish holidays. Basically, it's like there was a war, we won, let's eat.
You know what, though? But I love Passover because, I've always been, I have Jewish blood pumping through my veins, but, I was raised Catholic. But I've always been invited to lots of Seder dinners and been part of that celebration. And it's such an educational and spiritual proactive sort of holiday. Like you read a story, you develop new religions. I love the addition of like citrus at the table. I love the addition. It's like, okay, here's something great and classic, and then add on to it.
So Passover is the greatest holidays, and all my Jewish friends, we love Passover because it is a celebration. It's about casting off the shackles of slavery, escaping Egypt where we were slaves, building pyramids, and the story is about freedom and our oppressors, and sadly, it's still relevant. It has never not been relevant, Passover, which is just so sad after all these thousands of years that there still is anti-Semitism and there still is slavery. And it's not just the Jewish people, it's all oppressed people, it's all outsiders, it's always about the other. But Passover is a celebration, and it's very, very happy holiday and a great feast. I'm going to be making some brisket. To what you were talking about before, the introduction of citrus, this is a very new tradition about putting an orange on the table during Passover. It's a feminist statement because some rabbi had once said, a woman belongs on the bima like an orange belongs on the Seder table. And the bima is like the altar. It's like the stage in a synagogue, what you would call the altar in a church. And no women, they don't belong here. Like an orange belongs on the Seder table. So now we put an orange on the Seder table. I've heard some people use pomegranates as even yet more postmodern and more progressive, but it stands for inclusion of not just women, but of our queer friends, of anybody who's been marginalized in society. Everyone is welcome at our Seder table.
Fun fact, did you know that Marilyn Monroe converted to Judaism when she married Arthur Miller?
That communist.
And she continued living, as a new Jewish person through the end of her life, and she was boycotted by the Egyptian people, all of her films and everything in the 50s and the early 60s. And when her and Arthur Miller divorced, she was invited by the Egyptians to come and perform, and she said absolutely not. I'm not letting go of my faith. And this was her newfound faith, but I think that she has some of the feelings I may feel, and being really attracted to Judaism and the inclusion in the sense of family that the religion sort of embraces.
It's wonderful. So the good point about the story of Marilyn Monroe, though, is Albert Einstein was stopping a nice Jewish girl.
Oh my God.
But I'm looking at you now, John Pizzolatto. You're Irish on St. Patrick's Day, and you're Jewish on Passover.
I'm one of them.
All right.
Don't even catch me during San Gennaro. Forget about it.
All right. I love all of you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. Well, let's get to it. We're glad to be back. Glad it's spring, and we're going to get back with some Borscht Belt, some Little League, some litter pickup, some 420, and everything under the sun. Can you dig it?
Everything's better.
Let it rip.
Berryville.
All right, and I'm very excited for our first guest. We're taking a trip to the Borscht Belt. The other day, Johnny, I went to the doctor, and he said, Mike, you're going to die. I said, I'd like a second opinion. He said, okay, you're ugly. I told him about my uncle. My uncle is 80 years old, and he's dating this 20-year-old blonde, and the doctor said, that could be fatal. And my uncle said, well, if she dies, she dies. All right. Just trying to get in the mood for our Borscht Belt experience. Our guest is Marissa Scheinfeld, an old friend of mine. She is the author of the amazing photo book, The Borscht Belt, Revisiting the Remains of America's Jewish Vacation Land, which I understand is hot property down at the Stick-It Inn. And she was exploring the ruins of our Borscht Belt hotels. Marissa, good to hear you again. It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
And
thank you for having me.
Are you kidding? I've been waiting for this moment. When I saw you 6 or 7 years ago, you signed the book to me, Catskill Wishes and Borscht Belt Dreams.
Wow.
Which I loved. And you knew we were going to meet up here again. Our paths were definitely
But that was before Diamond Ranch, right, Mike?
That was long before Diamond Ranch. It was when I was doing my show in Brooklyn, and we booked Marissa as a guest just because we loved her book so much. And at the time, I was kind of figuring out why I could afford to live in the world's most expensive island and couldn't move to Sullivan County. But here I am.
Marissa, how did you get started, and where did this subject matter come from? What are your connections to the area?
Sure. So I'm pretty much, I'm not born, but I'm raised. My parents moved up to Sullivan County in '85, having gone to the Borscht Belt bungalows as a kid. Their parents did. Their parents' parents did. So it's really, I've been saying lately, it's kind of like part of this tapestry of my life. It's not just a project or a topic that I'm interested in. It is part of who I am and every thread of me. My parents have lived in the area since 1985. They lived in Kiamisha Lake, and they still live in Rock Hill now. And I think when I was trying to figure out what to say with my work, it was, what can I say that's really about me? That's a story about me. And, I knew about these hotels, having gone to them as a child, and I knew that they were fading. They were eyesores. They were these, kind of creatures all along the landscape that I call them of kind of stagnation, these ruins that people looked at as eyesores, but I saw them as something different. And I set out to document and kind of shine a light on them, knowing that eventually they would be no longer. And since the book came out about 6 years ago, at least half of the locations in the book are completely gone, meaning that they're not even ruin. They're like new condo or totally erased from Earth. So, using photography almost as an act of preservation, it was like this obsession of mine to just document as much as I could about this place that it's so embedded in not only Catskill history, but Jewish cultural history, Jewish American history, and really American culture.
Yeah. So your book, is on the shelves of our little library, and people just look at it for hours, both in the rooms and in the in our tasting room. But something that's so beautiful about it is, when we were designing the inn, we were really trying to look for what the style, what the aesthetics of the Borscht Belt was in all these old Catskill resorts. And your book really captures the essence of them, and they were these like dreamer sort of properties. I mean, they were very progressive in their designs. They were very stylistic, and they came from like such a really regional but like aspirational point of view, which is maybe why some of them kind of went by the wayside, because they weren't sustainable, because they were so large and so over the top. And I think of like the All Tomorrow's Parties was the last time that people were really like on the Kutcher's property, for example, which is now Yo One, and that has been completely reimagined, but just the remnants of that place are so exciting. And I think your book captures a lot of that same magic, where you're like in a world where these things, existed, and how did they inform things? I can't imagine a place opening like Kutcher's nowadays, like something that's so stylistic and forward and, expansive.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it. The Borscht Belt and the people that ran it, that made it happen, they were ahead of their game in so many ways. We always talk about the Borscht Belt impacting comedy, which is huge, and culture and everything like that. But in terms of architecture and design and aesthetics and branding, like you said, just like way ahead of their time. It was opulent in a lot of cases, and it was hard to sustain. It also became hard to sustain when people stopped coming. But you have to really understand why they started, and it's really due to anti-Semitism, because when the Borscht Belt began, Jews were banned from going not only to hotels, but really participating in a lot of aspects of American life. So they created like this party for themselves when the world didn't want them there. And, it ranged from, 535 apparently hotels is the number that has been counted, but it could be more.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. As like a small property owner myself, our place is not as nearly as expansive as all these places that you've captured in your book so well. But just that community buy-in in Sullivan County exclusively is so important. To sort of be facing to the local population as well, because I think that was a fatal flaw of a lot of these places. But it had to do with so much more. It was so much more charged because of the anti-Semitism that people weren't going in. But I feel a real kinship with this book, because that whole other than, and creating experiences for other than types of folks that are not maybe the locals or the regional story that the locals in a sense are telling, really does provide a separation. And we've been very cognizant of that to try to open our doors as an LGBTQ owned business, but to still make it community facing. And I think that the Borscht Belt had a lot of other challenges, majorly anti-Semitism.
Yeah, and with Borscht Belt hotels, like some of them were very Jewish, but some of them weren't really Jewish at all. They served lobster and shrimp, and I think, the range of what you can get in the Borscht Belt was like, you can go to a family-friendly hotel, or you can go to a single swinging hotel, or you can go to a very religious one, or you can go to a vegetarian-only hotel. The offerings were immense, and the price points were all over the place.
You guys know Jews love shrimp cocktail, right? There's not much.
Well,
my family wouldn't
but
prefer a
most
lobster. Or go, sneak off to the Chinese restaurant on Sunday night and have lobster Cantonese, which was an inexpensive way to get it, and therefore acceptable to to my family. I was taken to Grossinger's, and we should name drop some of these hotels. Johnny mentioned Kutcher's, which sort of had a moment of punk rock revivalism, but we're talking about Concord, the Grossinger's, Nevele being some of the more famous ones. I know we have to talk too about the Borscht Belt Historical Marker Project, which you're into. So let's define the Borscht Belt. Where is the Borscht Belt? Because we're not really in it here in Barryville. We're sort of adjacent. We're Borscht Belt adjacent. Would you say so, Johnny?
Yeah, I would say that there's like a huge Germanic sort of origin to this area. We also like to call it like where the Bowery Bums came, where they settled upon the logging industry and the coal industry and obviously the canal. So we're a little, I guess, southwest of where the Borscht Belt traditionally is looked at. So Marissa, you tell us. You're the expert. What do you define as the region of the Borscht Belt?
So really the epicenter in the region of the Borscht Belt is the town of Thompson, which includes Monticello, Kiamish Lake, the town of Liberty, which includes Liberty, Swan Lake, and the town of Fallsburg. Those three had the most density of hotels. And then you move outward, to other areas, Greenfield Park, Ellenville, White Lake, Bethel. There were some in Jeffersonville, but a few as you get towards Canosa Lake. White Sulphur Springs had a few, but the density is really in the Monticello, Fallsburg, Liberty area. And the Borscht Belt for about 50 years was arguably one of the most popular spaces, especially for Jews to come. And it really offered everything. And it was an all year round experience that happened right in your backyard.
Yeah. So it is a Sullivan County thing. It's primarily the focus was Sullivan County.
Yeah, it spilled over a little into Ulster in the Ellenville area. And I've heard other people like to say that it kind of spilled over into Orange because there's a couple in Bloomingburg on the cusp, but it really was Sullivan County. When you look at all the old ads, it's like Sullivan County, #1 in the nation for a zestful, restful vacation. Verbatim.
One thing about your book, it really is, though, about late century decay. For all the celebration, your book is like exploring the ruins of ancient Rome. It's an empire that collapsed.
Yeah, it's like the ruins of Xanadu. It's like the aftermath. I've even called it the aftermath of Dirty Dancing when people have no clue what I'm talking about. But it doesn't aim to be this nostalgic trip to the Borscht Belt. It really is a raw contemporary view of the ruins of it, which I, looked at like 50, anywhere from 20 to 50 years after each closed.
Do you think that the smoking gun or like the inciting incident for the end of this is air travel, or do you think that it's like, sort of like the lifting or like the unraveling of anti-Semitism at large?
All of it. I think it's air travel, the boom of the cruise industry, the proliferation of the suburbs. You have changes in the Borscht Belt kind of went down in the mid 60s. So you have to think about that era in American history too. We have civil rights, gay rights, women's lib movements, so many changes. And I think coupled with air travel and anti-Semitism, going down and the Anti-Discrimination Act and Civil Rights Acts passing, at that point, the world really turned and it opened up to kind of new pastures and new places and new ideas. And I think the Borscht Belt unfortunately stayed stale.
Yeah, and I kind
people stopped going.
Yeah, I can almost equate it to the LGBTQ movement. If you look at like the gay bars of like the 60s and 70s and 80s, they were so much more vibrant and alive with the pressures of oppression. Basically like you create more special spaces when you're told no. When you can't do these things, you sort of rise to the occasion and say, okay, fine, we'll do this for us, by us, with us. Whereas once it's all sort of integrated, maybe it gets a little diluted and is not as like decadent.
Yeah, we're all normcore now, Johnny.
Yeah, no, totally. The creation of these spaces, and besides the Jews, the gay community created spaces in the Catskills. And it's a topic, actually, I don't want to get too much into. I'm looking at my next book, all different groups, the Hispanic community, the Black community, the disabled community, all kind of came up to our area of the Catskills and found refuge and renaissance.
Marissa, before we go, please tell us about the Borscht Belt Historical Marker Project and where you are with it. I know we have a lot of markers going down across May and spring and into the summer, and I'm very excited for it. And also, I'm fascinated with your social media posts about the women of the Borscht Belt. We're kind of celebrating girl power today. We know behind every great old Jewish man, there was a great old Jewish lady. So tell us about the Marker Project and who's your favorite old Jewish lady you've spoken to on this project?
So the Borscht Belt Historical Marker Project is a historic preservation effort that I started with a small but mighty group of amazing people. And we're creating a historic marker trail that's going to span throughout the Borscht Belt. So it's going to go to about 20 towns. They're big, colorful markers. They have QR codes, photographs on them. They tell the story of the Borscht Belt, and then they tell the story of the Borscht Belt in the specific town it's in. So right now we have markers in Mountaindale, Swan Lake, Monticello, and Fallsburg. Fallsburg. And this summer, we're putting markers in South Fallsburg, Hurleyville, Kiamisha Lake, Bethel, and Woodridge. That will be about half done, and our goal is a trail of 20 markers with a self-guided audio driving tour. And each marker that kicks off, we have like a big dedication and a public program, all different public programs. We have like a whole lineup coming out this summer, and we're really excited.
And where can we find you for more information?
We are at www.maybeborschtbewithyou.org.
All right, tell us about your favorite Jewish lady.
You are incredible. I love your branding. This is amazing.
You gotta just like embrace it, and that's really what it is. We're gonna actually honor the great Mel Brooks this summer with a really big festival in Hurleyville, July 21st. We kick off May 25th with a film screening in Fallsburg. We have an event at Resorts World June 13th, something in Bethel Woodstock weekend, and Woodridge ends the summer on August 25th. But my favorite Borscht Belt woman, I would say right now it's Fanny Schaefer, who ran the Vegetarian Hotel, which most people are like, what? Vegetarian Hotel in the 1920s? But yes, going back to the Borscht Belt just being like way ahead of its time. And Fanny ran a hotel dedicated to kind of like yoga and like self-care and all the things that we strive for today, like inner peace and, like laying in nature and like taking a sound bath. And she started this in the 1920s on a tiny little farm in Woodridge. And we're going to honor her this summer. So she's my fave.
Was that one of the tuberculosis wards, maybe? Like that?
No,
because there was also that huge history of like tuberculosis wards and people coming, to the woods to recover and get fresh air.
Yeah, those closed actually at the dawn of the Borscht Belt because there was a lot of pressure. Locals did not like that the area was becoming known as a haven for the sick. So there was a lot of pressure. Yeah, the Loomis Sanitarium, which you can see ruins of it on Loomis Road, a lot of it was knocked down. There was a big hospital up there. A lot of them closed. There was another one in Liberty called the Workman's Circle. And, the idea is you could breathe fresh air and alleviate TB, but most all of them closed at the dawn of the Borscht Belt.
Was there any Highland individuals that were, part of the marker project? Like, did you know of anybody on this trek, or is Bethel kind of the hard stop?
Eldred, Ulen, Berryville. Highland Lake.
We are. Eldred really didn't have any hotels. I think Narrowsburg had 2. We have a major kind of list that we're working with off the Catskills Institute that collated and made this like amazing archive. Right now it's probably going to stretch to Bethel, but if we can stretch it further out towards you, it would be great.
Yeah, Ulen and Berryville were like the epicenters of like boarding houses. And things like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of boarding houses. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
if I can get to Berryville, I will.
Yes, please. By any.
In Berryville,
so listen, I went back to my doctor and he gave me 2 weeks to live, but I couldn't pay the bill, so he gave me another 2 weeks. Marissa, thank you so much for visiting with us, and we can't wait to see you along the Borscht Belt Marker Project, and especially here in Berryville.
Everything's better in Berryville.
And we'll be back right after this very important announcement.
Gather your friends and family at the 2nd Annual Catskill Cuisine Festival, presented by the Sullivan Catskills Visitors Association, Bethel Woods Center for the Arts, and Resorts World Catskills. Mark your calendars for a flavor-packed weekend from May 10th to May 12th. Experience the fusion of phenomenal food and electrifying entertainment. Rub shoulders with your favorite Food Network personalities, including Andrew Zimmern, Michael Simon, Scott Conant, Marcus Samuelson, Jeffrey Zakarian, Anne Burrell, Melba Wilson, and distinguished international chefs by LaBelle Farms. Kick off the festivities with Friday's star-studded golf tournament and evening reception. Saturday heats up with free tastings, thrilling live demos, music, and family activities, culminating with a gourmet dinner hosted by celebrity chefs. And on Sunday, celebrate Mother's Day with a special celebrity-curated brunch. Tickets for this celebration are selling like hotcakes. Visit catskill-cuisine.com to grab your pass for this unforgettable weekend in the picturesque Catskills. See you there.
Oh, I love a little Borscht Belt humor, Johnny.
If you could hear what I hear on these breaks, these Borscht Belt jokes are unending.
I work blue when the microphone's off. I don't want to get caught on a hot mic.
You know, but how great was Marissa? I mean, she's a dream. We should have her on. I can't wait for her next book to come out.
It's amazing. And if you haven't seen her book, The Borscht Belt, Revisiting the Remains of America's Jewish Vacation Land, it really is amazing. She's like an urban explorer. Just went to the ruins of these decayed swimming pools and dining halls and dance halls. And it's amazing. You can sort of hear the bad jokes echoing through the hallways.
You can almost hear Mike Edison telling bad jokes.
You know what? I'm here now. I'm here now with all your Jewish joke needs.
And it's free.
Not so much. All right.
Okay, all right.
All right. Did I tell you about my son, the diamond cutter? He mows the lawn at Yankee Stadium. All right. All right, let's go to the news. You ready, John?
I'm ready.
All right, here's the news with your host, John Pizzolatto.
I'm John Pizzolatto, and this is the news to me. I wanted to share a letter to the editor that was in response to a column that appeared in the River Reporter's My View section. The title of the article was Time for Nikki Haley to End Her Campaign. And whatever your political beliefs are, I feel like the national rhetoric has no place in community news or a community news source. You know, it was very clunky how it kind of came into the paper, and also like the means of how it got out there, I think, you know, being on the editorial page as if a local citizen sort of wrote this, but it was actually an endorsement by Americans for Limited Government. And George Ballard of Eldred goes on to say, my bigger issue with Manning's screed is why the River Reporter sees it fit to publish a political column from a man with zero ties to our area. Mr. Manning leads Americans for Limited Government, a Virginia-based front group that is funded by Koch-affiliated lobbyist organizations. The group portrays itself as defenders of freedom in order to hide its true agenda. And he goes on to say, the dissemination of this editorial is classic astroturfing, which makes locally distributed content appear to be grassroots advocacy. He also says, I have some questions for the publisher. Were you paid to publish this column? How did it come to you? Or was it just a clumsy attempt to cater to a local agenda that is openly question your liberal editorial bias? And I think that if that's the focus, let's get true, genuine, organic articles that are coming, you know, before the community, by the community. Let's not push these things that divide us in a much bigger way. I just find this so destructive, and it feels like a real end to a treaty or an agreement as a local news source. You know, like if we can't trust our local paper to print the words and thoughts and ideas and also the true issues that are going on in our community without bringing up this national rhetoric, where do we turn? I mean, I feel like we lost a trusted news source, which is a scary prospect. I mean, I personally, as a local business, has spent thousands of dollars advertising in said publication because I want to see it thrive and I want the news reported on in a fair and just way. And this seems beyond the pale.
I agree. It's very problematic. And I've also supported the River Reporter. I've written for them. My byline has appeared. They're both writing about rock concerts and about local issues. And I've hosted Laurie Stewart, the publisher, in the Back to the Garden series to talk about the importance of local news and the importance that local newspapers survive, lest this become a news desert. Local newspapers are so important. Local news, hyper-local news, and we're not talking just about the bake sales and the Little League. There's so many issues here, housing and budgets and just people getting along and people getting what they need and for Sullivan County to thrive. And this seems divisive to me unnecessarily.
Yeah, and it's disappointing at best.
Well, here's a more recent headline from the River Reporter. Just this week, Sullivan's first recreational marijuana store opens. The whole community is happy. Which, yeah, sure.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Who was interviewed to ask if they're happy? I'd like to know if we have 100% of the population just, you know.
Well, here's the thing. I know they're very big on what I would call both siderism at the River Reporter, but the only source for the whole community is happy is the actual owner of the marijuana store. And here, you know, people have heard me be oddly conservative about legalized marijuana, which is a shock because I was the publisher of High Times. But I think there are concerns and real challenges to the legalized marijuana business, although we're certainly very in favor of it and certainly against anybody ever being put in jail for marijuana. But keeping the owner of the store as the only source and putting the whole community is happy above the fold, the front page, this is starting to actually read like High Times.
Wait, don't we have another article from another publication that you wanted to talk
Yeah,
about?
let me take you to the Sullivan County Democrat, okay, who's really reporting the hard news with this headline. Are UFOs real? Government says no, locals tell their stories. And I just want to be clear here. The report that was, from the federal government is there is no alien technologies that were retro-engineering, no extraterrestrial beings being hid from the public. But I'll tell you what, John, I want to believe.
I want to believe. I love that. And, I think that we need to maybe put a show together where we invite, the publishers, Lori Stewart and maybe Fred Stabbert from the Democrat. Let's get them in here. Let's let them answer these tough, hard-hitting questions.
We should. Not for nothing, though. The story about the UFOs does go on to quote and take the testimony of many Sullivan County citizens who have seen lights in the sky and have had close encounters of various
residents
kinds.
on the pot.
These people tend to be a little bit older. I'm not casting judgment. There are no ageism here. Not from this old man.
So better watch it, old guy.
So John, have you ever been abducted by a UFO? And I'm going to just say no. No matter what the actual answer is, you probably want to say no.
No.
Okay, good answer. Let's take it. Let's go from the friendly skies. Let's bring it down to terra firma, to Earth. Let's go right to the cul-de-sac in Berryville, where our litter sweep was such a success on 4/20, no less, Earth Day.
Yeah, let's do it. And the greater thing about this is that this is the 4th annual litter sweep brought to you by the Upper Delaware Council, founded by Eldred's own former supervisor, Andy Boyer. And it really is a concerted effort amongst New York and Pennsylvania residents all along the river corridor. And, there's great incentives for collecting trash. This program extends all throughout the summer. You get these great coupons. And if you decide to grab a bag of trash from the side of the road with your friend or your family, you can turn them into your local transfer station for free. And we get together. This year we had the Catskills Pride Group. We had the folks at Kittatinny, the Berryville Chamber of Commerce, and the town of Highland all sponsor this, and also Next Gen Dumpster Removal, and the Kyle Gathers and his tree group also sent around a truck. So it was a lot of quality people. There was 70 volunteers.
Let's not forget the Lions Club.
Oh, the Lions Club. They were a fabulous addition, and they picked up so much junk. But yeah, thank you to everybody who participated. And this is one of my favorite holidays in April.
So I went down with my microphone, and here's my report. All right, we're here at the beautiful cul-de-sac in downtown Berryville, and Andy Boyer, the founder of the Litter Sweep, is addressing the crowd, really rallying them. Let's take a listen here what Andy has to say.
We're cleaning up the river corridor. It speaks how others see us when they come through, but it also speaks to how we see ourselves. Do we want to live in a place that has litter or a place that's spotless? And I know what the answer is because you're here. You folks are, I call the lifters. There are lifters and leaners, people who lift and lean. They say the breakdown is 1 out of 10. One person lifts, 10 person are leaning on the shovel, right? And so thank you for being the lifters here today.
Well, that was pretty great. Andy revving up the crowd. Andy's so good at this. I think Jimmy Stewart could play him in the movie. Let's take a walk around and see what other citizens of Berryville and beyond are skulking about. Hey, it's Matt McPhillips, one of our Sullivan County legislators. Hey, Matt.
Great to be out here. It's a beautiful morning. I think I might get the first tan of the year out here today, picking trash on 97. There's nothing better out here.
Well, not much sun for a suntan.
I don't know. Look, the clouds are breaking up. We're not going to have any rain today. It's a beautiful day. Any day on the river is a good day.
Exactly. If only we could legislate the weather.
I'll work on that for you.
All right. Have a great day out there, Matt. Good to see you. Hey, and here's Judge LaRufa. I wanted to ask you, will this count towards any community service that you might sentence me toward in the future?
We can do that, yes. Absolutely. We're always looking for opportunities to give people community service.
All right. Hope not to see you in court. I'll see you around town. And once again, Mr. Boyer, I'm totally confused that anyone would throw anything by the side of the road or the river.
It's mind-boggling that people do that, but I'd like to think that if there's no litter alongside the road, maybe they'll think twice about being the first to spoil it. So we're hoping that our roadsides get cleaner. They have been getting cleaner, and we have to keep that going, and maybe people will get the message.
I hope so. Thanks again. It's a good day. We've got a great turnout here. Hey, it's Matt from Next Gen, who's one of our litter leaders. You are the litter of the pack. How's it going, Matt?
Leader of the litter pack. It's good to be here. It's a great event every year. We have a lot of fun, and it feels good to do something good, so we're excited about it.
Yeah, the best thing you could do for yourself is help out your town, I think.
Absolutely, no doubt.
And town's going to be sparkling when we're done here today, right?
Yeah, no doubt. We'll be the cleanest town on the river.
All right, Matt. Thanks to you, and thanks for everything you do.
Thanks very much.
Hey, it's Frank Guzman, who's one of our litter leaders and, of course, the administrator of the estimable Living in Barryville page. How's it going, Frank?
Going very well. Happy Litter Sweep Day.
And happy 420.
Absolutely. Happy Earth Day.
It's an embarrassment of riches. Well, you've been doing a killer job in Living in Barryville, and here you are, though, boots on the ground.
Absolutely. We have a great group of team and neighbors here, all helping to, clean Mother Earth in our neck of the woods.
You're the Lumberland crew.
Lumberland Litter Sweep. So Lumberland Litter Sweep.
Don't forget, Frank, everything's better in Barryville. Uh-oh, it's town council person Laura Burrell here at the litter sweep. What's going on, Laura?
Good morning. I am currently looking for more trash bags. We had an overwhelming turnout, so we're going to get more supplies for all of our volunteers today.
You're doing the Lord's work. And Pierce from the Cupbearer, who provided the coffee today. You put awful lot of coffee in the coffee.
Yes, sir.
Well, you're keeping people awake and motivated. And who's this?
This is Pepper. Pepper, you want to say hi? He's shaking his head.
All right, future litter leaders of America. Good to see you out here, Pearson. Thanks for the coffee. Hey, it's Lori Ramey of the Upper Delaware Council. Good to see you out here, Lori.
Hi, great to see everybody. This is a fantastic turnout.
It's amazing. I think you guys are doing a great job at the UDC. Want to tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
Right. This is the 4th year that we've been promoting an Upper Delaware litter sweep, and we try to coordinate cleanups in all 15 communities on both sides of the river in New York and Pennsylvania. We go out and ask for litter leaders to step forward and round up volunteers in their communities. And so far, people have been very engaged with it and happy to participate.
Right. Can you tell me a little bit about the larger mission of the UDC?
Sure. Well, we're a nonprofit organization. We work with the National Park Service to administer the river management plan for the Upper Delaware Scenic and Recreational River, which, of course, is a national treasure and one that we're there to protect and conserve.
And the river is the most precious thing. At the comprehensive plan meeting the other night, I saw in the strengths, weakness, opportunity, threats, did I get that SWOT right? The river, by and large, was covered in those little dots, which meant that that's why people are here, and that's what people care about most.
That's really the central part of the identity here in the Upper Delaware, is that that's what we have in common, despite all the differences that might exist politically in every other way.
It's amazing. No, we do all draw strength and community from our river.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, let's go out there and keep it clean. Give a hoot, don't pollute. Thanks, Laurie. Oh, and here's the town of Highland UDC rep, who is one of our litter leaders. Hey, Christine Martin.
Hi, Mike and Johnny. So nice to have you guys come and join us today.
And I see you're riding in the truck today.
I'm so excited to ride in the truck. This is my first year as a litter leader for the town of Highland. I'm really honored to be helping out today. Seeing the turnout that we had today was really moving, because about 65 people showed up. They're all wearing the pink T-shirts proudly, and it's a really fun day. I have to say, volunteerism is one of the best things for mental health. If you give it away, then you will get it.
That's amazing. And Christine, whoa, can you hear that?
Oh my God, is that a helicopter?
I think it is. It's Tiffany Diamond, our eye in the sky, the Barryville Radio Traffic Helicopter. Thanks, Christine. Let's go to Tiffany Diamond right now. Hey, Tiffany, what's going on?
Hi there, this is Tiffany Diamond reporting from the Barryville Radio Traffic Helicopter. I'm so happy to see so many successful litter sweeps all over the Upper Delaware this year. Yeesh, there's a lot of trash. I'll never understand it. Do you throw your garbage on your living room floor? Why would you throw it at the roadside or by the river? What are you, nuts?
You got that right, Tiff. Hey, how's the traffic?
Highway crews will be out very soon fixing the road along Route 97 from the Orange County line all the way to Lumberland. And closer to home on Beaver Brook Road, they they will be repairing the bridge and expanding the dam at Taxpayers Pond. Now, both of these projects are going to be slow, so be patient and slow your roll when you see the crew. And remember, give a hoot, don't pollute. Stay classy, don't be trashy. And don't be a tosser.
Hey, Tiff, maybe you can come down and join the litter sweep. Maybe you can land the helicopter over at the Hewlett Ball Field. I'm pretty sure it's zoned for traffic helicopters.
Sorry, Mike, I can't hear you. It's too loud. That's over and out from Tiffany Diamond at the Berryville Radio Traffic Helicopter.
Wow, that Tiffany never ceases to amaze.
How did she find us during the litter sweep?
All those pink T-shirts, they could probably see us from space.
True story, true story. Or either that or it was a Mary Kay convention of the top sellers, just doing good by the side of the river.
And if the aliens haven't visited us yet, they're probably coming soon if they could see all those pink T-shirts. They're like, Berryville, that's the place to be.
That's the spot. That's the spot.
Well, it was an embarrassment of Rich's, John, a great spring day, like I said, for a month that begins with Easter, and we got WrestleMania and Passover
and now
Easter.
we're headed down to the home opener at Mackenzie High School for the Eldred Little League.
It's amazing. Opening day of the Little League. So we went down there and we talked to the kids. And, just to keep in of a topic with the great women of the Borscht Belt, we talked to the girls today. We went down to talk to the girls at the Little League.
We talked to the girls of the corner, and the Dark Forest versus the corner was the game that we saw. So it was Eldred Little League versus Eldred Little League.
A battle for the ages. All right, let's go down to the field. John, I'll see you at the concession stand. And I can see our Everything's Better in Berryville banner
way in the outfield.
Way out in the outfield.
Down
I think
low.
We're going to have to start dropping some more dough on our sponsorship next season.
Some more cash next year so we get a more prime.
But we are very proud sponsors of the Eldred Little League.
Maybe we should sponsor a team.
Maybe we should. Is there enough room on the back of a jersey to write Everything's Better in Berryville? So here we are with the Dark Forest Burn Bray Girls Little League team and the home opener. Hi, what's your name?
My name's Sophia Reinhardt.
And Sophia, what position do you play?
Pitcher.
Pitcher, that's good. What's your best pitch?
I don't know yet.
How long you been pitching for? How long you been playing Little League?
Well, I played 2 years in baseball, and then I just moved to softball this year.
That's awesome. What do you hope to accomplish this season?
Probably to win the hit of the ball.
Awesome.
A pitcher who hits, that's pretty rare. That's good.
It is good.
You're a double threat. What else we got?
Yeah, can I have your name, miss?
My name is Annabelle.
Annabelle, what position do you play?
At the moment, I don't have a position because it's my first year. But
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What position do you hope to play?
I really like to play shortstop because there's a lot of action over there.
Okay, let me ask you a really important question. What's your favorite thing at the concession stand?
Definitely the French fries.
Awesome. You guys have some pretty awesome coaches too, right?
Yes. This is Coach Ellis.
So, Coach, these ladies seem really jazzed to be out there on the field this season. What do you think are some of the challenges this season with such a wide age range?
Focus. Main thing is just keeping them entertained. Keeping their attention because we got age groups from 9 to 11. So just keeping them focused on the game, keeping their head in there.
Can I ask you some questions, miss? How long have you been playing baseball?
I've been playing it for a few years. I played it a few years when I was young, and then I stopped because I didn't like it that much. And then I restarted last year.
That's awesome. What brought you back to the field?
I just wanted to try it again. I didn't know if I liked it, but I wanted to try.
How's it going?
It's been good. It's not that bad.
Do you think the girls should get paid as much as the boys do?
Yes, definitely.
Income equality in Little League.
Nice. What is your name, miss?
Chloe.
Chloe, what position do you play?
I play catcher.
Nice. And what do you hope to accomplish this season?
Catching the ball.
That's a good goal for the catcher. Good work. I like it. What's your name, miss?
Skylar.
Skylar, nice to meet you. What position do you play?
Either pitcher or catcher.
And are you on the Dark Forest team?
No.
Oh, you're on the corner team.
Yeah.
Nice. You ever go eat pizza over there?
I mean, I hope.
They have good pizza. Hopefully they'll pay you in pizza. That'd be the best. That'd be the best gig you could get.
Yeah, it'd be better than what I get paid for doing this gig.
Yeah, that's right. Coach Kim, can I ask you a question? How long have you been coaching the softball team?
This is my first year.
Nice. And did you play softball yourself when you were in school?
Yes, I did. I played in Little League, and then I played throughout my entire high school career.
That's awesome, and that's great that you're sharing your skills now. That's really cool. And how many of your kids, you have 2 kids, right, that are playing?
3 kids on the softball team and 1 on baseball.
That's awesome. You guys are a real sports family. That's great stuff. Allison, and how long have you been coaching?
This is my second year coaching girls, but then I also assisted with the boys last year too. So.
And what do you think the main difference is between the girls and the boys coaching them?
The main difference, girls are more sensitive, but I enjoy coaching the girls a lot more because they have a more will to learn, and they are more susceptible to coaching.
But you see, this goes back to what I've always believed, that women are smarter.
Yeah.
Women rule the world. So do you guys think you play better than the boys?
Yes!
Ow!
The boys suck! And girls are superior.
A great day on the ball field, John.
Batter, swing.
Oh, can you believe it?
That was wonderful. I mean, those ladies had so much joie de vivre. They were like so excitable and so exciting to watch.
They are amazing, and they play hard, and they're just amazing, and that's the leaders of tomorrow, John, right there.
Yeah, and all the
future.
parents. The parents were so cool. It's funny. I know a lot of those parents down there. Like, it was great to see Kim. I'm glad she's coaching. It was just nice to see a lot of the people who were getting involved in the Little League.
And of course, we are proud sponsors of the Eldred Little League.
That's right. Look for our banner in the outfield.
And coming up too, we're also going to be working with another amazing local event, the Catskills Cuisines coming up.
Yeah, that's right. May 10th. We are going to be live from Bethel Woods for Catskills Cuisine. We're going to be talking to international chefs, local vendors, local purveyors of spirits and beer and cider and all kinds of wonderful things. I can't wait to talk to everybody. It's going to be a great day.
I'm looking forward to seeing my old pal Ann Burrell, a celebrity chef who's there. I've been using her meatball recipe for years. John, you've been a victim of my meatballs. What do you think?
They're delicious. And I do want to say, the Sullivan Catskills Visitors Association president, Roberta Lockwood, is on fire about Catskill cuisine, and we are on fire about Catskill cuisine as well. They're bringing in lots of international chefs. There's so many wonderful things going down.
It is a great event, and we're glad to be part of it. So thank everybody for coming and for the litter sweep. And, it's like after you clean your house, it just feels a little nicer. Everything feels a little nicer around here.
I get stressed, though, because now when I drive by and I see a baggie on the ground, I'm like, stop, pull over, back up.
There are so many little mini liquor bottles of that, what's that cinnamon-flavored Jim Beam?
Oh, Fireball, it's trash.
I think I should write a letter to Mr. Jim Beam and say, while we enjoy your product and encourage our...
Keep it off our streets.
Well, I don't know if Mr. Jim Beam is personally responsible for it, but our friends and family, drink responsibly and don't be a tosser. Give a hoot, don't pollute. But I'm going to write to Jim Beam and see maybe they'll underwrite us and our next litter sweep.
And we thank Heritage Radio and all the folks that helped put this show together.
And especially all of you for making this the biggest small-town podcast in the world. Let's go out on yet another note for 420 and Earth Day. Here are our friend of the Electric Chords with their song,
Back to the Garden.
All right, John, I'll see you next week.
Everything's better in Berryville.
Let me plant all the colors that I see in you. Oh, I wanna work in your garden. chewing snap peas, our bees, and some varieties, oh, just for the bees. Companion planting, always sweet romancing. Baby, I love it when our roots and leaves are dancing. Oh, I wanna work in your garden, baby. Let's plant a seed, see what we can grow. Oh, I wanna work in your garden, baby. Hey, 'cause I'd move the earth for my lady. Work in your garden, baby. Work in your garden, baby. Oh, I wanna work in your garden, baby. Oh, I just wanna, oh, I just wanna, oh, I just wanna, oh, I wanna, I just wanna, oh, I wanna, I just wanna. My lady, I'd move the earth for my lady. Ooh, yeah, I'd move the...
This show is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/
Hey, it's Francis Lamb, host of The Splendid Table. Every week on our show, we talk about food and cooking and the meanings of food and cooking. We talk with the most interesting people in food about their techniques, their culture, and everything in between. Whether it's about how fried chicken took over the world or how Instagram changes the way people are actually eating. It's a food show where everyone is welcome. Come join us. You can listen to The Splendid Table wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribe.